Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the European crossover webinar. We're in a couple minutes late. I was putting out the Wise Trade alert, so sorry about that. Not really a whole lot happening. It's end of the year, like I said yesterday. I mean, there was a little bit happening in the crude, not a whole lot, but at least a little bit. Absolutely nothing happening in the euro. And there's, like I said, end of the year, you have to be careful. Like I said, there's just not, unless you find a price that you want to position yourself at, there's just really not a whole lot to do that I can look at, that I can see. I see dollar CAD has gained a little bit, but not really a whole lot, but at least we've moved up about 40 pips in the last hour and a half or so, I guess. There's no real news coming up. We did cover that yesterday. Come to the U.S. session, we have Johnson Red Book, which is no longer a big issue as it was many years ago. We do have Case-Shiller at 9 a.m. Eastern. Consumer confidence at 10 a.m. Eastern. Dallas Fed manufacturing. And later on today, we have API oil stocks. Relatively light, and then once again, you figure into the year, there's just not a whole lot happening. We can roll into the next day. Tomorrow will be Swedish consumption indicator, UK housing prices, Spanish current account balance, Eurozone money supply, Italian PPI, EIA oil stocks later in the day, but nothing happening in the U.S. session. So that's what I'm saying. There's just not really a whole lot to drive this market. Then you figure at the end of the year, companies, banks have already, and funds have already wrapped up the books about, well over 10 days ago, shortly after the action by the FOMC, shortly right after that. So there's just nothing happening. You're basically just trying to make something out of nothing. And I just don't really feel you get that in FX. Like I said, equities will still move. We argued that point yesterday, or pointed out that yesterday. And, crude moves a little bit. But as far as FX, I just don't see anything happening. We can go in and let's take a look. So let's just go on and move into the charts. So here, we are the euro. I mean, if it's this quiet, and that 989 has held up really well. We talked about that yesterday. I was saying, had this not been, holiday trading, I thought this was a good area. I'd been happy to go in and take a short, cover somewhere around 67, or cover a dip. I think it was the 70s. Then talking about more 67, let it bounce back up. And we did get that bounce up. We sold them off, then they tried again. I saw this in the Asian session. Honestly, I thought about just taking a short against it. Once again, I just didn't feel like fooling around with it. But I thought if they're going to make another run up here, unless they're going to do something, it'll probably back again. And sure enough. But even then, if you think about it, here we are, 4 hours later or more than that, and the market's pulled back, a whopping ridiculous, like a whopping 20 pips or something like that. I mean, maybe a little bit more than that. Just not really a whole lot to really speak of. But we're going to open up this chart, see what we're looking at overall. I mean, personally, I just don't see the action that's happening here. So I just really wouldn't, I just don't see the motivation to put a position on unless we get something really wild. And even at that point, it's hung around so long that it can push up a lot higher. And you have to figure as we come into the new year, my thinking would be is if we moved up here in this area, let's say we moved up in this area towards closer to the 1030 at this point, is if they're just going to roll into the new year and they go, well, let them work a little bit higher, and then we can take the position. I don't think anyone's going to roll in on January the 3rd or 4th and say, wow, let me just hammer them right here if we're trading here. They're going to say, let them work up here towards the top of this range, and then we can position ourselves. I don't think anybody's going to walk in on January the 4th and say, man, let's hammer them immediately. But we'll open this up to get a bit better perspective. I haven't done anything on this other than, what I did coming into Monday, because there's nothing there to do. Only thing is I've done is I've moved a couple of my levels over here, remove the text for the levels, but that's it. I haven't done anything whatsoever to update this chart. There's nothing to update. But you see how they're hanging around here. Like I said yesterday, I thought, if we could drive them up here in the New York session up towards 1036, I thought that's good. But the more that we hang around here, the more it opens it up for a little bit higher test. In some ways, I wouldn't call it a microcosm, but this area here, I'm no fractals guy whatsoever. I'm just saying is that if you extrapolate this out, it's almost like this area being extended over here. My point is that the longer they sit here, people get used to this level. And so they're more apt to go and say, well, let them just work higher here to offset this balance that you're getting here. And so if the market works higher to finish the year, then when we come in on January the 4th, then people say, well, we're already trading here. Let them see if they can take them up here. Doesn't mean they'll make them here. Make it here. And then we've got an exit value area. And let them come back down to 869. So what the hell you want to go and come in now so you can just sit there like an idiot and just have to sit there until then you're thinking, wow, I guess I should have just waited. I'd have got a great price. That's what I'm saying is, and I just, it doesn't mean, when I came in to start the week Monday, I was hoping that we would pull back into the value zone right here, and I wanted to be a buyer, and I thought we'd do this. But that didn't come to fruition. So I'm saying is you just have to have scenarios in your head based on the way the price structure is. We talked about this ad nauseum. Here, allowed the move to here, and here, which was basically this overdone, and we talked about that, allowed the move up here, and then we had a nice pullback. We had a nice pullback at the expense of a lot of suckers that came in, and they thought, I mean, I can see here, although we were getting above this 869, but they thought they were smarter than the market, and they shorted it in here, and then they shorted it in here, and then they got the britches burned, and then some of us here took advantage of this move, and at their sorry ass expense, we just went and wrote it down here. So you have to let the market dictate what it wants to do. You could have a scenario where you look, I mean, when we were sitting in here that day, and right now, there's nothing happening in the market. It's the end of the year. So we're just talking about overall strategy, so everybody's on the same frickin' table. When it was down here, I didn't know what the hell was going to happen. I had no idea whatsoever. I'm just thinking, okay, it's just sitting here. I don't know what the hell's going on. And then after the webinar, in the chat room, that's what I was saying, hey, you know what, I think it can make it up to 915. That value between 915 and 929. Now, not to keep bringing that up, but just so that you have how to, at least I'm just explaining to you how I approach the market. You can approach the market however the hell you want to approach it. I'm just saying what works for me is that you have to have kind of an open mind, and when the market comes to an area where a bit of indecision, it's still good to have a scenario if you have one. There's nothing wrong with not having one and just saying, well, I just don't see, I don't know what the hell the market's going to go and do. That's not a bad idea either, because at least you're leaving yourself open to whatever the market gives you. You're not coming in with a case of myopia, where you have a narrow field of vision and you only see one thing happening. I mean, it came in and I was like, I don't know what the hell this thing's going to go and do. I just kind of see it sitting here at the moment. After the webinar, we tried to work higher, and I was watching the price action. I'm thinking, you know, they can maybe make it up to this 915 area, and then they ran up here. Well, the point is that you have to let the market do what it wants to do, and then when you figure out, you got an idea like, okay, I think, you know, I see something developing, you know, and maybe this will happen or that'll happen. And obviously that led us to run up here. Some people got short a little bit too quick. That's fine. But we talked about this that day. This was just mirroring what this has happened. And it just allowed us to open up here. And these people just couldn't see that. Although I've been in that situation where you're just kind of like hoping that it doesn't pan out. And sure enough, it did run up here and spank a few people. And some of us were able to take advantage of that move up there and get short and hang on the way down. I didn't hang on that long. Some of y'all hung on a lot further than I did and did very well. And we just came back down to this area where everybody started trying to take shorts and got burned. And now the market comes back and then we start to move higher. And I was thinking, well, on Monday, hopefully we can come down to the value zone and then I'll be a buyer there. We'll move higher. Because I didn't think anyone would really press this market. In light of what happened here, I always look at everything in context. Like I told you, my saying I coined was, it's all relative. Just like that, it's all relative. In the sense that when I look back here and I see it's the end of the year, I'm thinking these people already lost their asses right here with nice good chunks of losses. Not huge, but nice. And they're thinking, what the hell was I doing trading? Why didn't I just go in and wait till the beginning of the new year? So these people are not going to go in and come back into the market. You have to think in that sense, okay? So they see that and they're like, I'm such an idiot. Why the hell am I going and short it? Why don't I just go in and wait till the beginning of the new year? So now the market comes back and these people took losses. Put yourself in their shoes. Wow, it came back down. I guess I'm going to short it now. Those people aren't going to short it now. They're already kicking themselves in the rear end for shorting it when they could have just waited towards the end of the year or the beginning of the new year. So that's what I'm saying. This market opened it up for a move higher. That's why when I was hoping for this move at the beginning of the week to pull back potentially into the value zone here, and I wanted to be a buyer around 908-ish. This is what I thought would happen. Because my thought was anybody that shorted here and got their britches burned, They're not coming in back into the market. They're going to wait till the beginning of the new year. They're already saying, man, I'm so stupid. What a dumb way to finish the year. I go in and short it. I'm so stupid. They're not going to do it again. I mean, there might be some people, but most aren't going to go and do it. That's why I thought this opens it up for the pullback to here and a move. I wouldn't say a launch, but a move higher. Well, the market just sat up here. That's the saying. You have to have, it's good to have a scenario, but you have to be flexible. So when I didn't see it pulling back, I'm like, man, it doesn't look like it wants to pull back. Maybe coming into Monday, it wants to do what it's been doing the last few days, last week, and move up here. And then I think it's a good short to move back down here. Well, it didn't do anything. It just sat here for the longest of time. So, why the hell, doesn't mean it can't happen, but the way I would look at it from percentage or probabilistic standpoint, why the hell is the market going to move lower now? Doesn't mean it can't happen, but the way I would look at it is, why the hell the market's going to move lower now to bail out people? And say, yeah, anybody that's shorted, we're going to help you out or work lower. That doesn't make any sense at all. Doesn't mean that it won't happen. I'm just saying from a percentage standpoint, it doesn't make any sense. Because if you think about it, anybody that's gotten short up in this area, they're like, this sucks. I'm only up, now 7 pips. I knew I should have just gone and taken that profit when I was up 23 pips or 27 pips. So they're getting frustrated. They're like, screw this. It's the end of the year. What the hell do I have to worry about holding on to this dog into the new year? Why don't I just go and come in fresh? So there's that opportunity for the market to go in and work higher. Now, because the longer this range, the bigger the move that we can work higher, even though it's holiday trading, blah, 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 and so forth. My thinking would be that they'll probably want to just go in and inch them a little bit higher. And if they inch them a little bit higher, you're going to probably quickly getting people to cover. And then once we get up here, as we come closer to the end of the year, nobody wants to take a chance, I would think. So if we finish the year, let's say we make it up to 1038 or 1042, whatever. Maybe before the end of the year we pull back and we finish at 1017, whatever. I don't know. I'm not even forecasting. People piss me off when they ask me to forecast the price. So we go in and let's say we finish here. Anybody that sees the finish of the year is going to say, well, let's let them open up. Let's see if they can take them up in here. Then you can start to try at this point now, because I'm not a time person, but it's the end of the year, so I'm just saying as people, you're just not seeing that participation. So my thinking is, well, at this point, they'll just open them up, come in on Monday, and they'll say, wow, they're up here. Let's see if they can just work them a little bit higher, and I'll start taking the other side around 1070. Maybe they'll work them up to 1115, and that's what I'm saying. So I just don't see. I'd rather just take it easy and just sit back and stay fresh, and not expend mental energy trying to figure out what the hell this thing is doing up here and how much further it can go. That's my thought, the way that I would look at it. When you think about it, this market's not doing shit right now. Excuse my language, it's not doing crap. What the hell you want to go and be in it for then? I mean, if you're one of those people that can just sit back and not even worry about stuff, I'm the kind of person. It's gonna go in and bug me. If I have that position on. And I'm thinking, because I'm always trying to get as close. Everybody wants to get as close as they can. There's no guarantee, but I'm just saying is, I don't want to have to deal with that. I don't have to deal with that position. I'd rather just come into the new year fresh like that, and then I'm kicking myself. Why the hell did I just go in and come in start the new year fresh like everybody else, and I can start with a fresh, clean slate. No, I got to drag this damn dog from last year. That's what I'm saying. Y'all do what you want. I just wouldn't be doing it. Now watch. Maybe it's going to go and pull lower. I don't care. I mean, like I said, right now the market is just the only difference is we're trading in very light volume overall. Hang on. Look at this. This is crap. So if you say, let's say you take the short here, and so we pull back to the 950s and you go, yes, you see, I was right, he was wrong. Well, I don't know, give a rat's, you know what, about that. My point is, when I look at it here, all it takes is one person to lean on this with a little bit of size and we can pull it down. That doesn't make any difference. I'm saying is, but we're talking about the start of the whole new year. If you really like this 110, then take it. I'm just saying is, you're not seeing anything of any real value here when it comes to volume. We're just scraping the frickin' bottom of the barrel. And if you look at it in context, you come over here. Now this is March, so you can't count it against it from back here. Okay, because this is the March 6E. But you come in here, and when you look at it, you look at, here's the real vibe, here's 1211, you see? And now we're just basically scraping the barrel bottom of the barrel. But when you look in context, here we are November 30th, and here we are 2 days from the very end of the year. Is it really worth it to go and put a position on? I mean, if you like 110, like I said, if you're one of those people that you're going, hey, I got no problem. I'll sell at 110 and I'll come in with maybe, 1/5 size and I have no problem if it works 100 pips higher. Come January, I'll sell it because I like 110, whatever. That's fine. That's not the way I trade. That's what I'm saying. But you look at this is pitiful right now. So it won't take much if someone wants to lean on it to push it lower. I'm just saying from a percentage probability standpoint, it's just not doing a damn thing. Almost. To me, mentally, I'd rather just go in and come in fresh for the new year. But that's what we're looking at, and really the euro's not doing anything. That's on a 2 hour. It's not even really doing anything. I mean, if it's not doing anything on 2 hours, certainly hell it's not doing anything on a 30-minute. And it's almost time for break. But like I said, I'm going to be here for 3 hours, so that's when we're going to take our time. Plus, it's the end of the year. It's a good time to kind of get a general focus on markets, just an overall macro focus to kind of what you're looking at, so everybody kind of comes in with their head, on top, right? Let me take a look at something here. Anna says that the cable's making, well, she says British pound's making any loss. We'll take a look at this and then we're going to go on break. Like I said, I'm obviously taking a whole lot longer than I would normally do on this analysis. Once again, there's not a whole lot of nothing happening here in the euro. On top of that, it's the end of the year trading. So it's better, I think I do you more of a favor to give you all more of a macro outlook. And I don't mean macro, but I'm saying bigger picture in the sense that you step back and you look at the charts and say, okay, let's see where we're at. And is it worth me taking a position? I mean, if you're a bigger trader, like a big swing trader or something like that, and you're going to hold for weeks and weeks, it's not a bad idea to maybe come in right now if you want. I'm just saying that potentially, if we can move higher and we start the new year above 110, even if it's only like 10-17, then the market's probably is going to try and open itself to see if it can go beyond these highs up here. And say, wow, maybe we can start the new year out and challenge 1070 and get above it, and then we won't see any real action up there, and then that'll allow us to start to work lower. If you're a guy that holds for a long, long time or girl holds, maybe you don't care then. I do. I don't want to come in short here and come into the new year and then the market talking about trying to take out these highs and see if we can sustain a move. And I'm sitting on this thing, dragging this dog from last year down 50, 70 pips. That's not the way I want to start off the new year. And I'm going to start the new year pissed off at myself if I do something like that. Do what y'all want. I'm just telling you that's the way that I would look at it. So anyway, let's take a look here at cable. Well, Anna's right. We're working lower. This thing, it just looks like it wants to go to 47.70. And once again, it plays in that same thing. We're at the end of the year, so they're leaning on it. Who the hell wants to stand in the way? That's the saying. Who wants to be the hero and say, I'm going to step in and stop this market, so to speak. Not that you really would, but I'm saying I'm happy to take the other side. Yeah, at the end of the year, so that the market can. That's the saying. So when they come in next week on Monday and they're looking like, wow, we're here at 48. How much lower can we push here? And everybody's looking at the weekly charts and monthly charts, and you're long from here, and you're like, whoa. Everybody's talking about us making newer lows. I mean, wow, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. Like I said, I'm just saying is since we're into the new year and there's very light trading, you have things working against you in that sense. And trading's hard enough. I don't need anybody making it even harder for me by, like I said, putting myself in a difficult situation. That's all I'm offering. You do what you want. If you think, 47.70 is pretty key. If you think, that's a great area, my risk is low or whatever, I'll put a stop here, then that's fine if that's the way you trade. That's not the way that I trade. But I'm saying is if you're looking at it from that perspective, then maybe it is worthwhile to go in and come in. And an area that I'd be looking at from just right in here in this area right here. We'll take a look here, and I'm going to go and take a break right here. Right there. There. So we're right there. So just about like 48, 45. But once again, going to the new year, I mean, it's like you're going to take on the other side, and you don't have very many troops to back you up because everybody's already gone home until the beginning of the new year. But like I said, you can do what you want. We're going to go and take a break. Once again, it'll probably be a little bit extended. I want to send a few more Wise Trade alerts out. So it'll probably be a little bit longer. And then, like I said, I'll be here. Blake's, some of those may have missed it. Blake's was off yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He's in Vegas for a family vacation. I think it's his father-in-law's 70th birthday. So, but like I said, it's the end of the year anyway. So we'll go in and, catch y'all in a little over 10 minutes. And thanks for joining us here on the European Crossover webinar. Okay, everybody, welcome back to the European Crossover webinar. We were taking a look at the cable here, and move some things over. Okay, and as I said, we're coming into, this is a little area of support here. But like I said, coming into the end of the year, it's going to be a little bit tough for anyone to go and step and take the other side. But this is not a bad place if you were able to benefit from the short side and you traded very light. It's not a bad place to go and cover right in here. And that's about this 48, 45-ish area. Obviously, you're pressing a little bit lower, but not a bad area. But like I said, if you want to cover shorts, it's not a bad area. I definitely wouldn't, like I said, I just really wouldn't be engaging in trades to take the other side of the market other than day trades. If you're coming into the end of the year, you're going to have the momentum working against you. Anyone that was long, they're getting stopped out. They're not looking to, like, let me go in and try and buy at another area. They're like, you know what, let me call it a day, let me call it a year, I'm done. Let's start in January. So I'd be a little bit cautious here. But like I said, certainly the pressure's working lower here on cable. So let's go in and move into the crude, see what's shaking there. And if anyone has any questions, like I said, I'm going to be here for the next altogether 3 hours. Is like I said, Blake's out. So let's go in and see what's happening here on crude. Well, at this point, a whole heck of a lot of nothing. At this point, I mean, we came down to the areas that we were looking at yesterday. Okay, my billions right. Okay, here we go. So we came down to this 36.87. We saw a nice bounce back up here, this 37.28. I thought that we could make it potentially all the way up to, I think it was, like I said, it was at 37.37. So fell a little bit shy here. We came back, but we came back into this second value area. And you remember we talked about that, this 36.65, because I was saying, hey, look, if we can get beyond that, still I think if we dip beyond that, pickups, you want to pick up a little bit more here at the 36.65. So that was our secondary value area. We did make it down here on a couple of forays. The market respected it, rallied up, came back down here, pulled back up, not a whole lot, came back. Obviously, we tested here into this 36.65, just below it, and just hit a couple extra stops. Market stayed relatively quiet, and then from there we worked up higher to the tune of almost 35 cents, which isn't much, but like I said, this market is really quiet. We flipped in the buy signal here, but once again, holiday trading, it's very thin. I just wouldn't give it much weight. You know, obviously we were in a buy signal from down in here. We kind of tested it here, tested resolve, but we jumped right back, quickly back above it. So essentially we buy a signal, if you want to call from here to 35, 50-ish, 60-ish area, or if you want to say no, it really kicked in at the 36, 36.05 or whatever. But the thing was, it had a pretty fab run all the way up to 38.25. Then we flipped, and we talked about that. We flipped to the sell signal here at around 37.70 and change, and that was good for a dollar move. We flipped the momentum as we were finishing the week, after which was a tough week. We finished the week on this strong note. This was looking for potentially the market to tire and pull back. So this basically, kind of, I wouldn't say corroborated that, but it confirmed the premise that we would move lower. And when you saw the confirmation of that premise, then you could, at this point, even though there wasn't great follow through here, at this point you could say, you know what, I'll go and I'll take the short side, knowing that we were looking for a weaker move, and that now we were finally seeing the turn here, and the momentum was going to start to build that way. And even though there wasn't initial great follow through, we did get the sell signal, and it looked like, okay, great. You know what? That's playing into what I want anyway. I got the sell signal. There's not a whole lot of action, which is kind of good in a good way, I guess, to worry about the market pulling up against you. I'll take the sell signal, I'll go with the short or whatever. I mean, or either, like I said, I'm going to be prepared for the move lower, which we were looking for. And but like I said, we had that momentum working with this, although I would have expected the market to rebound a little bit stronger by now. I could have seen this dip to 36.65 and then move back further up here to take out 37.28. and then come back in here and dawdle in here. But instead, we rallied only a little bit. We fell back. We rallied even smaller, fell back, took out the stops, and we've been trending a little bit higher. But I would not buy into this thing. Once again, it's the end of the year. That's the bad thing about end of the year. Anything can go and happen, and you've got to have that kind of a mindset. You can say, I think this will happen, but you really have to be exceptionally open-minded that the market can do what it wants because there's not a whole lot of volume there, and anybody can lean on this thing and push it in any one direction. I don't see anything at this point. I mean, yesterday I came in with an idea that I thought overall, I think it makes more sense to look at it on the 30-minute versus the 2-hour. You know, we had been under a lot of pressure at the beginning of last week. We came in, the same thing, you know, they're really pressing them on Monday. We talked about that. And then we had a very nice counter trend rally, and they dipped them back in here. We did the rollover, and the market reasserted itself back to the downside with a little bit of volatility. So it looked like the market was trying to find some sense of stability here. I mean, the market was just basically kind of knocking itself to the left, to the right. It looked like it was really trying to steady the ship. So we got this nice counter trend rally, which kept pushing higher and higher and higher. And we finished up strong for the week. And that's what I was thinking, okay, well, this market looks good, but it's a little bit overdone. That's looking for a move lower. And that was my premise for what I was looking for coming into the new week. And so, like I said, then you got the confirmation with the momentum starting to turn lower, and you can either, with that idea, you know, get short, or just sit back and wait for the prices to come to your level. And they came to these levels here, but I would have expected us to come back up here eventually after this test at 36.65. I would have expected to move up to 37.40, and we're just not seeing it. We're drifting higher, but that's it. End of the year, I don't even want to touch this thing at this point now. Like I said, it's kind of like right now. This is acting like the euro was acting yesterday. I just don't see. I'm not going to put myself in that kind of position. If it rallies, then fine, it rallies. If it falls apart, I don't give a rat's. You know what? It's intuitive. I'm not doing anything with this thing at this point. I really don't care if it takes off to 37.28 because now you just don't know. Maybe we come to the New York session, we'll try and work a little bit higher, but like I said, to me, it's not even worth it. I just don't want. I'd rather just come into the new year fresh, and that's it. I like for a market. You know, we had broken this trend line, and I was thinking, okay, and my thoughts were, this was my original premise, was we're going to test the trend line, and we're going to see if we can hold it. And I have no problem with it breaking below the trend line, which was my move to 36.87, and the market gathers itself and we try and work higher. And we haven't. The pressures remain. And once again, we've talked about as we start the new year, they may just want to go in and lean on it to see who they can stop out lower, and then we can set ourselves up for a nice bottom and then try and work higher from there. Well, I don't want to come in. I'd rather, like I told you before, I'd rather come into the new year feeling good about things overall and not having to worry about how this market's going to go in and play out. You know, like if I'm stuck holding a dog. So let it do what it wants now. I'm not going to diddle daddle for the last couple of days of the year. I've done that before. It's just not worth it. You just expend a lot of mental energy. It's just not worth it for me. I'd rather just go and start the new year out fresh, and that's it. So I just don't see anything happening here in crude whatsoever. I don't think that there's anything worthy to look at on the footprint unless you're trying to scalp a few ticks. It's just not worth it to me. And look at the volume. The volume absolutely sucks. Look at this crap. And do what you want. I just wouldn't want to fool around. I mean, like I said, the volume gets going once you get to the New York session, but you're putting yourself in a difficult situation because, like I said, the volume's so low that you might even get some fake out signals. Trading crude is hard enough without even to make it even harder when you're going to have less participants, and you might even get someone to go in and lean in and shake up the market a little bit. I like to at least try and give myself the best, put myself in the best percentages. So I just don't, like I said, this volume is anemic, and I don't expect it necessarily to appreciate much better over the next couple of days. Doesn't mean we can't just, like, look at this. Look, here's yesterday at 5:10. Here's Christmas Eve. Right in here. Look, around 6 o'clock in the morning. That's Central Time, or 7 a.m. Eastern. Look at that. And here's yesterday's. Now look at today's. You're scraping the frickin' bottom of the barrel. I'm not going to put myself in that kind of situation. Y'all do what you want. I just don't see anything here. And just, it is what it is. It's the end of the year. So let's go and take a look at, let's see what's been shaking with the gold market. I haven't paid attention to that. Once again, like I said, new year, I'm just going to let things finish out and play out the way they want to play. Well, just like we've been saying, this gold, move this over here. Now if I can just find out where I put the gold chart. Oh, here it is. Like I said, until we can get above 86 on a 2-hour close, these guys and gals are just going to keep doing the same thing. We talked about this, just going to keep selling rallies. And they did it yesterday too, even though the market didn't rally up that much. We talked about this, and they sold at 75, and they were able to run it all the way down to 66. Actually even got up even higher. Well, actually, yeah, almost 76. So they ran it down 10 bucks. They brought it back up to 75, almost. Now it's down $7. Until we can get above 86, there's just nothing really happening. I mean, if you for the bull side, that's what I'm saying is it's the same thing as why put yourself in that type of situation. There's just not really a whole lot happening in this market. We'll take a look at it on the 30-minute. And they're going to probably start out, like I said, we've been saying that, is that, every time they go up there, they hammer them down, they hammer them down, they hammer them down. And, they're probably going to start the new year under pressure. Because that's the way, the direction, the momentum. So they're going to probably see if they can push them another leg lower. And then if they don't have any volume there, now they'll allow gold to push it, try and set itself up for a minor or medium-term bottom as we move into the new year. But once again, you're just fighting against momentum, and these guys and gals have had that momentum going in their direction for quite some time. And they just keep playing the same thing over and over again. Selling these rallies. So We're really trying to work against what's been working for people. And that's being selling those rallies. And so at this point, you're better off trying to see if they can come into the new year and take out the 1044 and see if they can get a lack of follow through and then potentially go in and put a bottom at that time. But there's just nothing happening in gold. I just wouldn't be taking any positions whatsoever on this. If you hold on to it, it's, again, like I said, over the course of a day and a half or so, it'll pay you. It's just that for me, as a day trader scalper, there hasn't been anything happening here. You look here, and the market doesn't do anything, and then it just trades, it goes in one direction. And I'd rather just trade in and out during the day. You see here, same thing, just goes in one direction. And then you just pick your level, and then we just start finally working a little bit lower. Saw a little bit of volatility here. Once again, you have to go and be careful with the end of the year, and there's just not a whole lot happening in these markets. We're getting ready to start the morning edge, so we'll do a real quick recap of FX, and then we'll move into the other markets and take a look at the SPUs and whatever else. But there's not really a whole lot happening here. These markets are relatively quiet. I kind of think the euro's still sitting here. It's not doing a whole bunch of anything. It'll be interesting to see. I kind of think that maybe they can press them a little bit higher. How much higher, I just don't know. But I think it's better to just go in and start out the new year fresh. We just don't have a whole lot of anything hitting. So we're getting ready to roll into the morning edge. So let's just go on and let's roll over into the news screen, see what's up. Although really there's nothing up, but we'll just go and roll into that, and then we'll do a recap of the majors. We'll look at euro.